Hello, welcome to Dogghead Tech and to the first video of a new series of myself refurbishing old and new gaming technology. Now this console that I have in front of me here doesn't need a repair, it runs well, but there are things that we can do to make it run better, to ensure that it performs better and make it more reliable. So a friend of mine has asked me to sell a PS4 Pro with the controller and cables. So what we're going to work on first is the console. So we're going to fully disassemble it, make sure the fan's nice and clean, make sure the heatsink's blown out, change the thermal paste, disassemble the disk drive, clean that out, reassemble it, and then we should have a pretty wicked bit of kit. My friend's also given me the controller as well. I haven't tested this, but I'm assuming all works well. Either way, I'll get it apart and I'll make sure it's deep cleaned and that the potentiometers and the analogs are doing what they should be doing. I can just about, it won't quite fit under the camera, so I will try and jiggle it about and try and focus on the right bits as I'm working on it. So let's flip this over. Let's get this hard drive out first. One way that you could upgrade it very simply is to put a SSD into this. This is a mechanical drive, so they're a little bit slower. There we go. You can see there's a lot of dust that's collected in here. So it's definitely a worthwhile thing to do. These are all, most of these are Philips, okay. I have a PS4 Pro, but I've actually never opened mine either. So this is relatively new to me. So let's take all of the torque screws out. Flip this round. The fan here is not looking too bad. It's looking a little bit dusty, but nothing crazy. Right, and let's get this power supply out. Get this plate off as well. I'm just kind of wiggling it to get this out. There we are. There we go, and there is the power supply out. See the mad capacitors in there. That'll be carrying a lot of charge. And so far, it looks pretty good. I mean, yeah, it's a little bit dusty, but nothing that you wouldn't expect from something that's actually been played. Okay, let's start taking some of these off. So these are your Wi-Fi antenna. Did miss one. I knew we were going to miss one. We did miss one down here. Security screws. Torque screw, sorry. Right, and now let's... How many have we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got so many here. You know what? I'm actually going to take a picture of this so I remember which ones go where. Times like this, I wish I had an electric screwdriver. Maybe that should be my next purchase, my next treat. I'm just going to take the shield off now, I think. Otherwise, I could rip a ribbon, maybe. So we have all the thermal pads on here. I believe these are the RAM ICs. Just need to get this clamp off, and then we can get the motherboard out. Might need a little bit more leverage. I'm not sure which way it's going to lift up. Probably this side. Yeah, there we go. Now, I think my friend bought this from a service provider. I just want to check if that's the original solder on the HDMI. I think it is. Yeah, I don't think the HDMI has been replaced. You can see though on here how dry that thermal paste is. So that just kind of again proves my point of why we do this, and that's to ensure that it runs as good as it should. It's like quite an old battery, so I'm just going to test that CMOS battery as well in a... Well, I'll tell you what, let's do that now. But under 3 volts. So I'm going to replace the CMOS battery as well whilst we're here. Right, there we go. And if we test this now, yeah, that's better, 3.3. Okay, so I'm going to put this to one side for the moment and we'll come back to our chassis. What I want to get to now is the heatsink and the fan. And then once we've reached the heatsink and the fan, we can clean that, then kind of start putting things back together. I'm just going to clean this off just so it doesn't go everywhere and make a mess. There we have it. And how does this heatsink look? Yeah, it's like kind of dusty. Okay, so let's get this fan out and then I want to go around each fin and dust it down. It's actually pretty clean, considering it's been used for however long. Yeah, like, that's pretty good. So let's give this a little bit of a dusting. I'm just going to use a cotton bud for this. So I'm hoping to do some more console stuff in the near future. I've never owned a Nintendo Switch. Yeah, very much a PlayStation guy, me. However, I have purchased myself a Switch with quite a few problems. So I will be featuring that on this channel in the very near future. That's what I'm intending. So if you are interested in seeing that, then do subscribe. You'll get a notification when that's up. So fan is totally clean. We can actually put that back into the chassis, which is great. Okay, so that's back in. Yeah, and that's pretty good. I don't know if you can see me, but I can definitely see you. Right, so disk drive. So out comes the disk drive. It looks as though I can get this top plate off by sliding this out. There we go. Beautiful. What I want to do is pay some attention to these rollers here. And that's why. You can see just by that small pass, so just taking that middle bit out, just because it then frees this to a point where I can spin it. You can see the amount of stuff that's coming off of that. And I mean, when I tested it, it takes the discs in perfectly fine, but it will get to a point where these rollers will get so dirty that the discs will stop being taken in at all. See, we're getting plenty of stuff off of this. So again, really happy that we've just taken that little bit of time to do that little bit extra, because it could make all the difference. And to put that back in, all we need to do is insert this here, like so. And then it clicks back into place. And there we have it. So we can get this back together, put it back into the device. That should work perfectly. Just give this a little dust. Right, so let's plonk this back in. Let's get the base back in. Just making sure I don't pinch anything. This is what I wanted to address the most. To be honest, I mean, it's still quite tacky. You see it rolls into a ball still. It's certainly not the worst. Right, and now we'll bring in some IPA just to clean this up. There we go. So hopefully this will just slide into the top over these two prongs. There we go. And let's get these torque screws back in. Do want to be a little bit careful as I'm screwing these in, because I'm screwing into plastic. If you screw backwards or unscrew when it's sat in, like so, and then unscrew it until you hear it click. Like that. That means you're at the start of the thread. So then you can screw it in. Once you've done it once and you get into the habit of doing it, it becomes kind of second nature, and it just means that you don't strip any threads or anything along those lines when you're putting screws back in. And then we'll get this thing polished up. This needs a proper clean, so a little bit more dusting. There we go. So back of the device is over there. So let's squeeze this in, push this on, and hopefully it'll click over the top. Or do I go the other way? I might have to go the other. Yeah, I'll have to go the other way. Right. So from the front and then to the back. There we go. I was hoping to do the controller in this as well, but time's kind of getting on a bit, so I might actually do that in a follow-up. Actually, tell you what, let's get this plugged in before I call it a day. So it's the next day, and the reason why I didn't finish up the video yesterday was because I did find a small fault on the fan during testing. It does make a slight sort of crackling noise, like it's misaligned. Maybe there's a little bit too much wear in it, I don't know. Either way, it needs to be replaced. So I'll be doing that. I mean, you've seen me disassemble it once, you don't need to see me do it again, so I'll check back in once I've done that. So I'm happy to say that that fan replacement that I've done has cleared up the issue that this device had, and now it's been fully tested. I have updated the system on Wi-Fi, I have installed a game using the disk drive, played the game for 15-20 minutes and it works perfectly fine. So I'm happy to say that this lovely device is now fully refurbished and working like a dream. I did want to refurbish this controller at the same time as refurbishing the PS4 console. However, I've noticed that it needs a little bit of work. It's not a simple job. So I'm going to save this for another video, and if you would like to see that video, then do subscribe and hit the bell button, and you'll get notified that that's been uploaded. With that in mind, I'm going to wrap this video up. So thank you very much for watching. It is hugely appreciated, and I hopefully see you again in another video very soon. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.